I love in the back.
They're the people. The people.
Yes! Ow!
Short as I am. Look at all those folks out there. Isn't that cool?
Oh, you're there. I bet someone has higher.
Should we get started? Okay. All right, folks.
All right, here we go.
Good morning, everybody. I'm John Sarbanes from Maryland's 3rd District. Happy to be here with you today. In a few short moments, my colleagues and I are going to walk back up these steps and into the chamber of the House of Representatives to cast our vote for H.R. 1, the For the People Act. For months, for years, really for decades, millions of Americans across the country have been looking at Washington and feeling like they've been left out and left behind. They see the influence that big money and special interests have up here in Washington, and they feel like their voice doesn't matter. They see ethics and accountability problems, and they want to feel good about government and those who serve in offices of public trust. And too many Americans have faced this challenge where getting to the ballot box every 2 years is like running an obstacle course. And they've said to us, we want our government back, we want our democracy back, we want to feel included in how America makes decisions. H.R. 1 is designed to do that, to restore ethics and accountability, to fight back against the interests of big money in our politics, and to make it easier, not harder, to register and vote in America. We're proud to have assembled H.R. 1, the For the People Act, to restore the voice of the American people and to return to a government of, by, and for the people. And with that, I want to turn it over. And now let me introduce Zoe Lofgren, the chair of the House Administration Committee, who shepherded this bill to where it is today. Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you, John. Well, I want to thank John Sarbanes for his amazing leadership on this legislation, as well as Speaker Pelosi and our fabulous freshman class. You know, we have a mandate to return power to the people. One senator said, this is a power grab. Yes, it is. It's a power grab for the American people. Now, as a manager and chair of the Committee of House Administration with primary jurisdiction over this bill, I want to highlight the transparent and deliberative manner this bill has proceeded through the House. The For the People Act was introduced on January 3rd. The bill has been posted online and available for public review for 65 days. 6 House committees held bipartisan public hearings to review and debate the measures, more than 19 hours of testimony. The Committee on House Administration marked up the bill in regular order 10 days ago, and we have a CBO score from the House Administration provisions, and yesterday a CBO score for all the rest. 182 amendments were offered for H.R. 1, 72 amendments, I think some kind of record, were made in order for floor consideration, including 14 Republican and bipartisan amendments, and as of last night, 5 of those have been adopted. This bill has been brought to a vote in the most open, transparent manner this House has seen in years. Contrast this open and deliberative process to that of the House Republicans' H.R. 1 in the last Congress. Their massive tax giveaway to corporations and the nation's wealthiest 1%. Their H.R. 1 proceeded through the House without a single hearing. Their H.R. 1 was crafted behind closed doors and wasn't made available to the public until just days before the committee markup. Their H.R. 1 threw a $1.5 trillion hole in our deficit. The differences are clear. Our bill, H.R. 1, the For the People Act, will clean up corruption in Washington. It will make it easier to vote. It will give everyday Americans more power in our democracy. So I am going to run to the floor to finish managing this bill, but before I do, I'd like to introduce someone who has brought new energy and great insight from the private sector, our freshman from California, the wonderful Congresswoman Katie Hill.
Thank you so much. This is a historic moment for each and every one of us, and for my generation in particular, but especially those that follow all of us. This is when we take our democracy back. So many of us ran, and so many of us were elected because we believed that our political system is broken. When we're facing the threats of climate change, but the laws currently benefit big oil companies and the energy companies that are destroying our climate and are destroying our environment rather than benefiting those of us and making sure that we have a planet to pass on to the next generation. When our healthcare laws are benefiting insurance companies and big pharmaceutical companies, well, millions of Americans struggle to pay for their healthcare and the most basic things. And when we are facing the most critical moment in our democracy, and it is big corporations and special interests rather than each and every one of us who has a say and has power, then we are not going to be able to solve the problems that we're facing. So right now, we get to go inside and we get to vote and we get to leave a legacy for those who follow us. And this is the moment. This is the moment that we came here for. We're so excited to be here with you. And I'm excited to hand it over to my colleague from California as well, another young person, Congressman Josh Harder.
Thank you, Katie. Here's a stat that blows me away. D.C. is home to 11,000 registered lobbyists. That's 25 lobbyists per member of Congress. During one of my first nights in D.C., I got invited to a dinner with some of my freshman colleagues. I thought it was going to be a chance to talk about some of the issues that I hear from families in our community every single day. The cost of health care, education, jobs. But imagine my surprise when the only thing these lobbyists wanted to talk about was what would benefit their clients. This happens in this city every single day. Thousands of lobbyists create an ecosystem of easy access where they can push their clients' agendas in front of our elected representatives. There's an alarming divide between Washington and my district in California. It shows that it's far too easy for well-financed lobbyists to crowd out the needs of our families in favor of their clients. My community has had enough of these backroom deals, and this bill today is a step in the right direction to make sure we change that. That's what we came here for, and that's what we're excited to do in just another couple minutes. Thank you, and over to my colleague from New Jersey, Mr. Andy Kim.
Good morning. My name is Andy Kim, and I'm the congressman for the New Jersey 3rd Congressional District. It is no exaggeration to say I simply would not be standing here as a member of Congress before you if it weren't for the passion of the American people for healing their democracy. It is the reason I chose to run. I stepped up because my neighbors lost trust in a government that they no longer felt was working for them. They sent me here to cut through these divisions and reassert that the core unit of our democracy is the citizen, not the dollar sign. To remind Congress that the voice of the American people must not be drowned out by dark money held by the few instead of the many. And most importantly, they sent me here and sent all of us here to get something done about it. In a few minutes, we will take a vote to seize that chance and make that change. And I ask that we do not take step on the House floor as Republicans and Democrats, but instead we recognize that we are but 435 individuals from all corners of our nation, of the people, entrusted by our neighbors, by the people. And we should be simultaneously humbled and inspired by this incredible opportunity to deliver on this promise to build a better nation for the people. Thank you.
Hey everybody, Dean Phillips from the frozen Minnesota 3rd. Today is a new beginning, and I am so proud to be part of the most remarkable and diverse freshman class in congressional history here in the United States. We come from every nook and cranny of the country, different backgrounds, different races, religions, perspectives, even political ideologies. But one thing every single one of us heard throughout 2 years of campaigning was that people have lost faith in the integrity of our political system. We heard people say that the size of a contribution should not equate to the size of your representation. They say that the elected officials that they vote for should be held to the very highest ethical standards in the entire world. And they said that this should be a nation that fights to make it easier to vote, not make it harder to vote. And as Congresswoman Lofgren said moments ago, Mr. McConnell has said this is a power grab. And she's right, it's a power grab for the people. It's also a power grab from special interests and a return of power to the common interest. I am so excited, the most exciting moment of my entire life, to go up these stairs in a moment and vote on this bill. And it is my honor to introduce my colleague and dear friend, Joe Neguse. He's not, oh, like I said, it is my honor and privilege to introduce the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Woo-hoo. That's it.
It's my honor to stand in for Joe Neguse. I thank all of our freshmen, every single one of them, for the message they delivered on the campaign trail, for the determination they have brought to the Congress of the United States. We are so excited today, as I think you can detect. In this cold day on the outside, we will go inside where the political climate will be much warmer for the American people because of the action that we will take today. We're thrilled to be here again on the steps of the Capitol, waving our flags with this outstanding freshman class in a show of great unity. When our freshmen took the oath, they made a difference, ensuring that the priorities of their communities would be the priorities of the Congress. Now today, we're honoring the people's trust as we pass our transformative H.R. 1 for the People Act. As has been said, H.R. 1 restores the people's faith that government works for the public interest, the people's interest, not the special interest. That faith, that confidence is a treasure that is fundamental to a democracy that people believe. They believe that actions taken here will be in their interest. That is what this legislation will help to restore. It ends the dominance of big, dark, special interest money in politics, and it empowers small donors and the grassroots. Ensures clean, fair elections and fights voter suppression. It cleans up corruption, returning integrity to Washington, D.C. Let us be very clear. This is a fight that we're taking a vote on today. But it is a fight we will not end until we win it, because it is a very fight for the Constitution. It honors the vision of our founders, gives hope to the American people that their interests are served. And so when we break the grip of special interest and put the people back in the power back in the hands of the people. Let me salute our colleague John Lewis, whom we'll hear from on the floor shortly, for the fight that he made for expanding the opportunities for voting in our country. We're all in his debt. But not only the fight he made then, the sacrifices he and so many others made, but also the brilliance that he has brought to this legislation in the form of provisions to end voter suppression, which exists in our country so sadly. And let us thank John Sarbanes. He had a vision. He had a vision. He has a vision that honors, again, the vision of our founders about a democracy. He knows his subject very well and therefore had a plan, a strategic plan to take us to today. And in the course of the campaigns, the freshmen connected with the American people who told them that they wanted their voices to be heard. What great messengers our freshman class, the messengers they are to the Congress for the people. So this is, in our view, an historic day, a pivotal day, a day that will make a difference as we go forward. And to those, as Mr. Phillips, Congressman Phillips said, yes, it is a power grab on behalf of the people. But let us look to the Senate and say, When we pass this bill, it's not just what happens on this floor. It's the message it sends to the American people. Our inside maneuvering will have succeeded today because of the outside mobilization of the American people for the people. So the Senate, as you receive this bill, you will also be receiving the aspirations, the mobilizations, the persistence, the relentlessness of the American people to have government work for them, for the people. So this is a fight we're engaged in. We are not going to end it until we win, and we can save a lot of time by the Senate just agreeing to the for the people agenda. Thank you. Let's hear it for the freshman class and all the difference they are making for the people. Has our friend Joe Neguse gotten here? Well, Joe Neguse, we'll hear from him on the floor of the House. There we go. But so many voices from the freshman class. It's pretty exciting. Let's get down. Let's go to the floor, take the vote, send it to the Senate, soon to have and hopefully to have a path to the president's desk, again, for the people. Let us wave our flag. Thank you all very much. This is the best moment.
Let me shake your right hand, okay? All right. Thank you. Okay. That was very good. You're looking like a pro.
I was losing my voice. Get my flag.
You as well. You as well. There you go. Place the ball.
Yeah, darn right, yeah.
All right, so Tris, you guys are going up. You're about to vote on HR 1. We're excited. Ready? 3, 2.
Hey everybody, it's Dean Phillips and Andy Kim. How excited do we look? It is a huge day here in Washington. We're about to go up these steps into the Capitol, onto the House floor, and vote on perhaps the most important piece of legislation in recent history, HR 1. The For the People Act, so we can get dark money out of politics, return the highest ethical standards to the people that serve in this building and throughout Washington, and ensure that we return power to the people and get rid of the special interest influence in this place and return it to the common.
This is what we were sent here to do. This is the promise that we're trying to fulfill, and many of us